Hey everybody, Ron here. Today I'm recording this audio to talk about my session of D&D that I just ran today. It was Septimus, Tuenga, and Marv. Keth's player could not make it today, which is unfortunate because this dungeon crawl is a sub-thread for his character. We'll see how things go in the next couple of weeks. I really wanted to jump into the dungeon crawl right away because I want to run it for 2 or 3 game sessions. The climax, I need Keth for. I figured I could still dig into the dungeon a little bit with the other players and have a little fun. They took an airship from Sharn to the capital of the Shadow Marches, which name I am forgetting right now, but when I post up the video, I'll post up the name. And so they went there, and from the capital, they traveled east in the Swamplands to Tarndral, which there is not any official canon information on that location. The Eberron campaign setting, well, the map has some dungeon locations that they just name, but they don't detail so that DMs can fill in those details. And that's something I'd rather like. I'd like to see more game settings do that. I think the Forgotten Realms map may have stuff like that too, but I am not sure. Anyway, so they went to Tarndral and decided that the Tooth of Vavrak, one of the ancient relics of Vavrak, the black dragon that started the Gatekeeper Druid tradition, was in this location. It's a religious site that is guarded by the gatekeepers, where they set up traps and riddles so that those who have the skill can get to the end of the dungeon and find the tooth. What the players don't know is that only a gatekeeper druid can actually access the location where the tooth is, and that will be fun to reveal. And so that's why I need to have Keth there. But back to the story. So we get in. They start at the entrance. Marv is a diviner wizard. I told Marv that they felt a sense of dread and wonder over the site, trying to foreshadow something. Because I intend for this dungeon to be a little dangerous. It'll be full of undead and other dungeon denizens that make sense. Undead Oryx make sense because the Gatekeeper Druids are headquartered in the Shadow Marches, and that is an orc homeland. So, so there's undead and other things that the gatekeepers put in there to guard their artifact, or relic, rather. So they get in there, they go to the entrance. Tuenga set off a pit trap. He fell in, got hurt pretty bad actually, but they don't have a rogue, and that's what happens when you don't have a rogue. So the party bypasses that, unlock the doors to the entrance, and they open the doors, and there are 12, no, there were more than that. There was like 18 skeletons. 18 tough skeletons. Actually, I used a miniature skeleton stat block, but I described them as orc skeletons. Took a couple of points of their average damage off, just so because they're not minotaurs, they're orcs. And that was about it. The stat block basically was the same. I figured that this was going to be an easy thing, bunch of skeletons in close area, fireball, a couple other things, and we'll wipe them out. But that battle turned out to be a bit harder not more difficult, but it tapped more resources than I anticipated. So those guys took a short rest, and then they continued on. Of course, there was another trap after this room. This trap was a gelatinous cube. There was a hole. There was a chamber in this short hallway that held a gelatinous cube, and it dropped it when one of the players stepped on a plate to trigger it. But here's the thing: they didn't see it. What happened was they stepped on this plate in the previous room they were in, and that triggers drop in the gelatinous cube. Of course, the gelatinous cube is difficult to see, so they didn't see it. Most of them didn't see it. Keth, with his amazing passive perception, was able to see it, and it was initiative. The fight actually wasn't tough. It's a CR2 creature, but I did get a chance to engulf a couple of characters, so that was fun. And the players can now say that they have had an encounter with an iconic D&D creature. So that's something that they'll remember. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It still was a easy fight for them, no problem. So they went on to a couple of more rooms, and we decided to end the session there. They decided that they wanted to take a long rest. I decided to be easy on them and let them take a long rest and end the session right there. So what did I learn? Once again, I had the lesson repeated that encounters can be vastly different from situation to situation. A bunch of skeletons should be no problem. Turned out to suck more resources than I thought it would. And I just have to be mindful of that. Sometimes you just can't avoid that stuff. Other than that, that was about it. So it was fun. It was fun for me, especially with the Gelatin Cube. It was fun for them. I would like to play next week, but Ket's player is also unavailable then. We may have to put the game off a week, which stinks because I missed 2 weeks. We missed 2 weeks and we played, and then we missed a week and then we played again. I want to get back into a weekly rhythm. Maybe I'll hang out with the rest of the folks and play some board games or run a run shot of something so that at least we're in the habit of playing something every week. We'll see. I am going to run a flashback session with Marv and Twinga so I can flesh out a little bit of Marv's backstory more. I want that to come to a climax pretty soon because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, Season 3 is going to be a highlight for Marv. And I got my Reaper Mini that I'm using for the Lord of Blades, at least the one that I think I'm going to use. We'll see if I can get it modded. Otherwise, I might order a mini from Hero Forge and have that modded. I don't know yet, but I need to make my decision soon because whatever I'm going to do, it needs to happen because I'll only have a couple of months before the campaign comes to the conclusion, and I really want to show off something, and I really want it to be impressive. So that was it. That was the session. I will see you guys later. Take care.